Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the phylum Chordata. As do we have discussed the basic body plans of the chordates, in which there do we have discussed the presence of dorsal hollow nerve cord as well as notochord and pharyngeal gill slits. These three were the important characteristic features shown by the members of the chordates. So the phylum Chordata is again subdivided into three different subphylum, which are subphylum 1, Urochordata, or also called as Tunicata. As the word Euro, it has been derived from the Greek word aura, which means tail, and chorda means cord. So means the members of the Urochordates, they show the presence of notochord and nerve cord only in the tadpole-like larval stage. Means the adult ones, they do not show such type of structures. Only in the case of larval stage, these cord-like structures, they are present, or we may consider the larval forms more advanced than to the adult forms. So we can say the adult members of the member Urochordata, they are showing the primitive characteristics, whereas the larval stage, they show the advanced characteristic features due to the presence of notochord and nerve cord only in the tadpole-like stage, in the larval stage, and in the tail region only. The adult forms, their body are sac-like, mostly sessile, means fixed to any substratum, and encased in a protective tunic, so they are also called as tunicates. For example, we may go through Herdmania. This is the common member. So this is the Herdmania, which is also called as sea squirts. More members, Molgula. So this one is the Molgula. More members are Salpa. So this one is the Salpa. More members are Acidia. So this one is called Acidia, as well as Dolulum, etc. So this one is the Dolulum. Now the next second subphylum within the phylum Chordata is subphylum Cephalochordata, as it has been derived from the Greek word kephal, which means head region, and chorda means cord-like structure. So what is the important characteristic feature shown by the members of cephalochordates are the presence of notochord and nerve cord, which are present throughout the life and along the entire length. Means from head to the tail region, the notochord-like structure is present. It is present within the body of the individual member. For example, branchiostoma, it's another one more name. It is called as amphioxus, commonly called as lancet. So this one is the member branchiostoma, also called as lancet, having the notochord present throughout the entire length of the body, means from head to the tail region. The third subphylum is Vertebrata, which has been derived from the Latin word vertebratus, which means backbone. So, in the case of the members of the Vertebrata group, notochord is supplemented or replaced by a vertebral column or backbone, which is composed of overlapping vertebrae, and the vertebral column may be either bony or cartilaginous. For example, in the case of cartilaginous fishes, for example, the Scoliodon, Torpedo, the backbone is cartilaginous, whereas in our cases, in mammals, reptiles, aves, the backbone is bony in nature. So, we may consider the all vertebrates as chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. This statement is true in each and every aspect. We can justify that just do we have discussed the three different subphyla within the phylum Chordata. The first subphylum was the Urochordata or Tunicata. The second subphylum was the Cephalochordata, and the third subphylum, just do we have discussed, is Vertebrata. So we may go through the characteristics shown by the members of Urochordates and Cephalochordates that such type of vertebral column structure is missing. So this presence of backbone or vertebral column is shown only by the members of the group Vertebrata. So we may say that all vertebrates means all the members, all the vertebrates, they are chordates, but all the chordates, they are not vertebrates, because in all the chordates, we may have just discussed now, in the case of urochordates and cephalochordates, the vertebral column like structure is not shown or exhibited by the members. So one, that is the most important aspect for the vertebrates, and more important facts that vertebrates, they have ventral muscular heart with either two chamber in the case of fishes or three chambered in the case of amphibians or reptiles, or four chambers in the case of apes and mammalia, as well as having kidneys for excretion and osmoregulation, and they have paired appendages which may be fins or limbs. Now we will discuss about the subphylum Vertebrata. The subphylum Vertebrata is again subdivided into two divisions. The first division is Agnatha and the second division is Gnathostomata. As the Agnatha, the A letter means not or absent, and Gnathos means jaw. So means the members of the Agnatha, they do not show the presence of true jaws. Whereas in the case of Gnathostomata, the word has been derived from the word gnathos, means jaw, and stoma means mouth. So in the case of Gnathostomatas, the members, they are having or showing the presence of true jaws. So we may consider the differences. The Agnatha, they are without true jaws, whereas the Gnathostomes, they show the presence of true jaws. In the case of Agnatha, paired appendages absent, whereas in the case of Gnathostomes, appendages are paired, may in the form of pectoral and pelvic. The third case difference, the inner ear is with two semicircular canals in the case of Agnathans, whereas in the case of Gnathostomatas, inner ear is with three semicircular canals. In the case of Agnatha, the notochord persistent in adults, but in the case of Gnathostomes, notochord persists or it is replaced by the vertebrae. So as do we have discussed, the Vertebrata is divided into two divisions, Agnatha and Gnathostomata. The Agnatha, within this a single class is present which is called as Cyclostomata, whereas in the Gnathostomes, it again bears two superclass. The first is the Pisces and the second one is the Tetrapoda. Within the Pisces, they bear fins for locomotion purpose. For example, the class Chondriocthes, cartilaginous fishes, and the Osteocthes, which are the bony fishes. Whereas in the case of tetrapods, means they are having four appendages, within which the four classes are there: class amphibians, reptiles, apes, and mammalia. Now we'll discuss the first class within the subphylum Vertebrata under the division Agnatha. So, which is Cyclostomata, in which the word cyclos means circular and stoma means mouth. Means the members, they show the presence of circular mouth without having true jaws. If we go for the characteristics shown, the members, they are ectoparasites, mostly on the fishes. For the survival, they get the nutrient from the fishes. The members, their body are elongated, just eel-like, and they bears 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for the purpose of respiration. As they are ectoparasites, they do have sucking and circular mouth without jaws. The members, they are devoid of scales and paired fins, as well as the cranium and vertebral column is made up of cartilage tissue. They are cartilaginous in nature, and the members, they are marine, but they migrate to fresh water for the purpose of reproduction. And the development includes indirect, means there is involvement of a larval stage through which the young stage, it transforms, it metamorphoses into the adult form. For example, the petromyzone and myxine. So as do we may observe, the members, they are eel-like, their body is elongated in nature and eel-like, and they are marine animals, they are not having true jaws, and they are not having paired fins. We may observe they are having unpaired fins for the purpose of locomotion, and they are ectoparasites. They do so the presence of certain types of circular mouth-like structure having suckers for adhering to the fishes. So these are the members. Petromyzone is also called as lamprey, whereas the myxine is also called as hagfish. Now we'll discuss about the class Chondrichthyes. As the characteristic feature, it is hidden within the name, in which chondros means cartilage and ichthyes means fish, means the fishes which are having endoskeleton cartilaginous in nature. So the members of the Chondrichthyes, they all are marine, means found in the salty water. Their body is streamlined, means anterior end and posterior end, they are pointed for the easier movement within the surroundings and habitats, and cartilaginous endoskeleton, just do we have discussed. The mouth, they are ventral in position. As do we may observe, the mouth is present in the ventral position, whereas in the case of other members, or we may consider the bony fishes, the mouth is terminal in position. So this is the case for Osteichthyes. The gill slits, they are separate and without operculum. For example, in the case of Scalodon, we may observe the gill slits are separate and not covered by operculum. Whereas in the case of bony fishes, we may observe gill slits, they are covered by a flap-like structure which is called as operculum or gill cover. The members, they have special type of scales which are placoid scales, and some members, they do have electric organs also, as well as some they have poison glands also. In the case of teeth, they are modified placoid scales. They are directed backwardly to capture the prey, and the members, they do not show the presence of swim bladder or air bladder like structure. Due to the absence of swim bladder, they have to swim continuously for maintaining them within the water body. The heart is two-chambered. They are cold-blooded animals, means they are poikilotherms, means they are unable to control their body temperature. They are dioecious, means sexes are separate. And in the case of males, the pelvic fins bear claspers. So in the case of males, the pelvic fin bears claspers, which are the intromittent organs which helps in the transfer of the gametes from the male to the body of female. As the males, they have claspers which helps to transfer the gametes. The fertilization is internal, and most members, they are viviparous in nature. The common members are Scoliodon, Torpedo, Trigon, etc. So this is the Scoliodon, which is also called as dogfish. Some more members of the class Chondrichthyes, they are shown in the figure: whale shark, basking shark, white shark, frilled shark, zebra shark, hammer-headed shark. These are the shawfish, stingray, common skate, ratfish. Some more members which are eagle ray, guitar fish, electric ray, etc. Now we'll discuss another class, which is Osteichthyes. Under the superclass Pisces, the word osteon means bone and ichthyes means fish. Means the members of the Osteichthyes, they are having bony endoskeleton. So their endoskeleton is made up of bones, and the members, they may be either marine or some they may are freshwater members. The body is streamlined, as do we have discussed in the case of Chondrichthyes. In the case of Osteichthyes, the members, they have mouth terminal in position, as do we have discussed in the case of Chondrichthyes. The members, they were having mouth ventral in position, but in this case mouth is terminal in position. So do we may observe the mouth is terminal in position. But in the case of Chondrichthyes, the members, they were having mouth ventral in position. The members, they have 4 pairs of gills covered by operculum or gill cover. So the members, they have 4 pairs of gills, and these gills, they are covered by gill cover, also called as operculum. Skin covered by cycloid or ctenoid scales. The members, they are having air or swim bladder present, which helps them to show buoyancy. Means they are able to maintain their body within the water body at different levels. When they fill the air within their swim bladder, their body becomes light in weight as compared to the density of water, so the body, it raises above. And when they releases the air from the swim bladder, the density of the body becomes more as compared to the water, so they helps to sink at down level. So like this, they helps to maintain the buoyancy with the help of swim or air bladder. Now the heart, they are 2 chambered, and they are also cold-blooded animals or poikilotherms. They are dioecious, means sexes are separate, and fertilization is external. Means the male fishes, they releases the gametes outside the body, and the female fish, they also release the gametes, the eggs, outside the body, and the fertilization, they do takes place outside the body of female. So they show external fertilization, and they are mostly oviparous, and development is direct, means without the involvement of larval stage. For example, some of the marine members, they are Exocetus, also called as flying fish. For example, the marine fish, which is flying fish, commonly called Exocetus. Hippocampus, this is called as seahorse. They are also marine in nature. And common freshwater fishes, which are common near to our surroundings, for example, labio, rohu, clarius, which is called catfish. So these are the freshwater fishes: labio, rohu, clarius, which is also called as catfish. We call it magur, valago, hilsa. It is a marine fish, but during breeding time, it comes to freshwater for the purpose of breeding. This is katla, as well as some other members of the bony fishes. Now we'll discuss about the another class, which is amphibia, which comes under the superclass Tetrapoda. Means from on now onwards the members they will show paired limbs, and they would be four in number. Tetra means four and poda means pod means limbs. So they would be have four number of limbs. As the name suggests, amphi means duo and bios means life. Means the members they are able to survive in both terrestrial and aquatic habitats. The members, as we have discussed, they are tetrapods, means they have two pairs of limbs, two anterior and two posterior in number. Body is divisible into head and trunk. In some cases, tail may be present. For example, in these members, we may observe the tail is present, but in the case of frogs, tail is absent. The skin is moist and without scales. Eyes, they do have eyelids, and tympanum, it represents the ear. One the important feature, which is the alimentary tract plus urinary tract and reproductive tract, they open into a single opening, which is called as cloacal chamber. As we may observe, the reproductive tract as well as the urinary tract as well as the reproductive tract, they all open into a single opening, which is called as cloacal chamber, which opens to outside through cloacal aperture. Respiration is through either gills or by skin or lungs. Heart is three-chambered, having two auricles and one ventricles. So due to which there is mixing of blood, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So the members, they are poikilotherms or cold-blooded animals. Means they are unable to control their body temperature according to the changing temperature of the environment. The members, they are dioecious, means sexes are separate. Fertilization is external, means the male and the female, they releases the gametes outside the body, and the fertilization takes place outside the body. The members, they are oviparous, and development is direct, but in most of the cases the development is indirect, showing the presence of larval stage. For example, a common frog, rana, bufo, toad, etc. So as we may observe, the common member is Rana tigrina, the common frog. We may observe the opening, the tympanum, which represents the ear. More members, which are ichthyophis, salamanders, common Indian toad. So till so far here, thank you, have a nice day.